You know that friend that's just a walking ball of chaos and trouble? Devon was that friend for me. Hanging out with Devon at night was a bad idea. I mean, hanging out with Devon during the day was also a bad idea, but night was extra bad. Hey Jeremy, I want to go to this girl's house. It is currently night. Her parents aren't home, and we will be climbing in her window to get in. This seems like a bad idea. Let's go. Okay! I just couldn't say no to him. If he wanted to do it, we did it, and it was always trouble. Once, he convinced me to get off the bus early with him like 2 to 3 miles away from my house. He wanted to see if we ran through the woods like a shortcut, could we beat the bus to my road and then get back on the bus and get dropped off a second time. There was one problem with that. My superpower. Let's go. Activate ultimate form. Asthma. It was all I could do to barely keep up with him. I legit thought I was going to get lost in the woods. Another time, I got off the bus at my house and sat down in front of the TV after school because I earned it. But I heard the front door open and somebody ran through my kitchen. I came out of the family room to investigate like a man because I am mommy's brave little boy. What I saw was Devon sprinting through my house and running upstairs. Yep, this tracks. But he left my front door open, so I went to close it, and the moment I did, this other kid from the bus was there. Let me in. He looked pissed. There was no way I was opening that door. But that was not what he wanted, so he started banging on the door. I said open the door! Then I definitely didn't want to let him in. Like a psychopath, he picked up a big stick and started hitting my window like a spear. It was a miracle it didn't break. How would you get out of this situation? Well, for me, it was easy because I am a people pleaser. I just opened the door. Oh, did you want to come in here? By all means, come in. Hey, don't forget your weapon. I certainly wouldn't want you to be mad at me. I'm sorry if this is inconvenient for you. Try not to hurt yourself. He ran past me and chased Devon upstairs. I chased after him with much athleticism. By the time I got to the back door, I could see both of them running through my backyard. Devon had apparently snatched his hat off his head when he was getting off the bus and then ran from him through my house. When I was a little older and I could drive, Devon begged me to let him drive my car. I'm sorry, did I call it a car? It was more like a tank. It was a 1981 Oldsmobile. We bought it off my great-grandma, who, by the way, lived to be 105 years old. How crazy is that? I actually got into a car accident with it in high school, and it completely crushed the back of someone's car, and all it did to my car was pop up a small piece of metal in the front. Well, Devon wanted to drive that car. What might Devon do with the power of a car tank? Well, if you guessed drift down someone else's gravel driveway and almost run into their house, you would be correct. It was crazy close. It wasn't all terrible, though. Sometimes he was pretty normal. Devon is the one who introduced me to Metal Gear. Not that one. No, way further back. No, I mean really, really back. Yep, that one. I also remember staying the night at his house, and we'd sleep out on the back deck and scream the theme song to the Mortal Kombat movie. I'm sure the whole neighborhood despised us. There were some fun times. This was not one of those times. Down the road from my house, there were these two sisters, Lily Rose and Rose Lily. They didn't live too far from me, just a minute or two bike ride past this intersection. A lot of things happened near this intersection. Up the road this way, that leads to my first video with Mrs. Red, where she tried to run us over. Down the road this way was the man who killed my dog. And right here is where we had the big showdown because of that guy. Just past that and down a hill was the section of woods we called Freddy's Lane. Right here was my #1 most dangerous game of hide and seek. And right here is where the bombs went off. The sisters lived this way. This was back in the Stranger Things era, and we were kids without cars, so we got on our bikes and rode to their house under the cover of night. Lily Rose's window was on the 2nd floor, so it made for a bit of a climb to get in. She let us in her window, and we climbed into her bedroom as quietly as we could. I didn't know her family, but I did know that we weren't supposed to be there. I was pretty scared at first. I didn't want to get in trouble, but then I saw something that made me change my mind. Something I hadn't noticed before. Something that made all my fears go away. Now I only had one thing on my mind. Oh my gosh, get out of the way. She had a Nintendo. So while Devon talked with her, I sat on her floor and played some sweet, sweet Mario Brothers. Back then, it wasn't very common for anyone to have a game system, so this was a big deal, and I played and played until I lost track of time. In fact, we stayed so long, we were still there when her sister Rose Lily came home. She'd been out with her boyfriend, and he had just dropped her off. She seemed surprised we were there and was like, "Wow, you guys are brave. Do you not know Dad's here now?" Suddenly, everything fell into place, and I remembered their last name. I realized, actually, I do know their family. At least their dad, by reputation. Her dad was Officer Hawk, and we were in his house, where we already knew we weren't welcome, in the bedroom of his cute teenage daughters at night. Remember I said this was during the Stranger Things era? That means body cams weren't invented yet, so let that sink in a little. We heard heavy-booted footsteps coming up the stairs. There wasn't time to get out, we had to hide. Lily Rose shoved us into her closet. We were there maybe a second before their bedroom door opened and their dad walked in. I could actually see him through the crack in between the closet doors. "You got a boy in here?" They did their best to pretend everything was fine and that they had just been talking to each other and that one of them was playing Nintendo. "I'm just Nintendoing, Dad." "What even is a boy?" There I was, standing perfectly still in the closet, barely breathing in case my breathing was too loud. Now the main problem with those sliding doors is they're attached at the top, so they can swing outward a little bit. The reason I know that is because Devon started pushing them. He gently started shoving the one back and forth that was in front of me. Now, have you ever felt true fear? Not just normal scared, like you got jump scared watching a video, or being scared you're gonna get in trouble or something. I mean real fear, the kind that's like a wave of heat that flows through your whole paralyzed body. Devon smiled, and I knew it was about to get worse. He started poking me in the crotch, trying to get me to make a noise. If you had any doubts before that I might have been exaggerating about Devon, this is true Devon. I never saw him afraid of anything, and he always wanted to see how far he could push stuff. Miracle of miracles, their dad somehow didn't see any of this. Maybe. Eventually, they must have convinced him enough because he left the room. Or he hid just outside with his gun. I don't know what he did behind the door, but I knew I wasn't going to stick around and find out. I was done. We slid out of the closet, and I didn't care if Devon was coming or not, I was leaving. We said our goodbyes. "Goodbye, my love. I know you'd like and subscribe to me if YouTube had been invented yet." Freedom was just a nice little jump from an upstairs window. I was pretty rattled, but I got my bike pretty quick, and we got... Hey! Rose Lily's boyfriend had not left yet, and he saw us jump out of their window.
"What y'all doing?"
I think the only thing that saved us was we could ride into people's yards and he couldn't, so we did actually get away. If Officer Hawk found out what happened, I never heard about it. He actually passed away a few months later, I think from cancer. And then I think they might have moved because I don't know that I ever saw the sisters again. If this story started to sound familiar and you realized you have a friend like that, you probably put up with it for one of two reasons. You either didn't realize it was bad until just now, or you don't think you deserve better. But I want you to know that the world is better with you in it. You have value. You are awesome. And you deserve to have good friends